Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the RDFNL Netball Show, second of our weekly finals edition. Starting to get used to this weekly netball show kind of thing. I quite like it. It's very, very pleasing after what was a fantastic first weekend of senior finals in the Riddle District Football Netball League's Western Water A-grade netball competition. Sean Kelly's my name. Joining me as always, my co-host, AFL Goldfields netball manager Kim Bailey. Kimmy, what a great first week it was in the finals.
Yeah, huge weekend of finals, both juniors and seniors, but a couple of the senior games were absolute rippers. So just really exciting for us to push through and see who's going to end up with the big title of the Premiers for 2016.
As we said last week, 6 teams entered. We're down to 4 teams as well. Congratulations, I suppose, to obviously the teams that didn't make it through to this week, Melton Centrals and Diggers Rest, on their games on the weekend. We'll talk more about those throughout the show, though, because we're going to start things off, Kimmy, this week with a bit of a junior segment as well, because some really, really big stuff this week with the juniors. Junior Grand Final Day this weekend, and of course, the junior presentation night held last night at Tabcorp Park as well. Run us through some of the winners first, Kimmy, from last night, and then the Junior Grand Finals.
Yeah, what a wonderful evening it was too, Shaun.
Over 440 people in attendance last night. This thing just keeps growing and growing. 4 years ago, before we started, this was a pint a can of drink at the Sunbury Town Hall, or Gisborne or somewhere like that. We had 440 people at Tabcorp Park last night.
Yeah, and it's so nice now. We've tried to make it a formal occasion and see all the girls and the boys all dressed up and looking absolutely fantastic. And the speeches and everything, I think these kids are a credit to the club.
Yeah, they are.
Well done to everyone. But, we'll start off with the Beatson results. Some great results there too. For the under 11s, 11 and under went to the best and fairest to Renee Marriott. Now this is a little pocket rocket if I've ever seen one. She is a jet, this girl in the centre. She's one that we really need to watch. And the runner-up was Eliza Newman from Romsey, so that's a great effort. That's Romsey's second team.
Yes.
They've got one in Beatson and one in Turner, so that's their second team that they entered, so that's a great result too. The under 13 Beatson. One of the good news stories is Diggers Rest this year with their netball, who have just really struggled, and now they've got teams and they're telling me they can have 2 11s and 2 13s next year if they really want to as well. And that's, excuse me, I never get these names right. I think it's Amia Mankalo.
Sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah,
I think that's what we went with last night.
So congratulations. And Elisa Ward, she's again one of our rising superstars from Gisborne, was runner-up. The under 15 Beatson was another great result was Tori Fisher from Lansfield on 20 votes, and April Sims from Macedon on 16. Macedon have had a really great season and built their netball from when they first come into the competition, so well done. And then the under 17s, 2 girls from Gisborne. So they've taken votes off each other. So that's what
in the end it's worked out okay because they both won it. So.
Yasmin Johnson and Tasma Morris. So congratulations, girls from Gisborne. And then the runner-up was Annabelle Ferguson from Macedon. So it was really close right through that result, that grade. For the Turners, for the kids under 11s, Mountain South had a really, really good night with their award winners.
I think they had 3 of the 4 winners, I think.
Yes, I think they did too, Shawnee. Luina Cioli. Is that how you pronounce it?
We'll go with it.
Yep. Yeah, and I think she's got lots of sisters or cousins. From Mountain South, she won on 25 votes, and Ava Mitz from Riddle on 22. Little Maddie Brown, what a name, Madison Brown.
Yes.
What a name that is, as long as she can play like that. And you know what? She nearly can. She's a great little player.
Good to hear.
Mountain South, again, took out the under 13 Turner with a Costia, I think it is, or Koskian. I could never be a boat router, will I?
No.
So we'll go with Costia, Ciolia again, and from Mountain South on 26 votes, really close this one, and from Wood End, Olivia Rodder was on 25 votes. And then for the 15 Turner, Sarah Duff, 24 votes.
Very good player.
Yep, very good player. And then Shadell Nicky, who missed a lot of games too, and she 20 votes. So Shadell is back used to play for Kangaroos and went to Darwin with her parents and come back to Lions. So she was runner-up on 20 votes. And again, Mountain South for the 17 Turners, Joanne Hunt. fantastic, and she won on 27, and
Well done, Jackie.
Keely Holter was runner-up from Sunbury on 21. So great night, well done to all the girls.
Some fantastic results and a fantastic night at the junior presentation night at Tabcorp Park, of course, this past Wednesday night. Kimmy, take us through some of the junior grand finals that will be happening this Sunday throughout the Melton area at both the Melton Recreation Reserve, Melton South's home ground, and at McPherson Park, of course, home of the Melton Bloods.
Yeah, we'll start off with Turner, and they are at Mackie Park. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to get both venues together, have Beatson and Turner together, only because of the unavailability of the second ground at McPherson Park,
of course,
which to a rugby ground.
We've had last year, but with Melton Central's not being the host team at that ground anymore, they have turned it into a rugby ground. So
yep. So we've had to split, but the first game will kick off at 10 o'clock for Turner at Mackie Park, and that's Riddle, who went straight through to the granny, and they'll take on Wood End, so that'll be a great game, some good little players in that team. And then from there on in, Rupert's will come into it, and they've got teams in the 13s, 15s and 17s, so a great effort by Rupo. So they'll start with Mountain South. They went straight through from the qualifying to the granny. That kicks off at 11:15.
Yep, that's in the 13s.
Yep, in the 15s, Sunbury Lions went straight through as well, and they'll take on Rupert's Wood at 12:30, and then Mountain South again went straight through. They'll take on Rupert's Wood at 1:45.
Replay of last year's Turner Grand Final from memory as well.
Yeah, they're very, very strong teams.
Which went down to a
teams.
goal or something like that, I think.
It was a great game, yeah, off the top of my head. I did about 6-7 games that day. So
you were tired by the end of it, I knew that.
So
I think I even had to give you a chop out on one of the presentations, you got that tired.
Yeah, might have, I can't remember. It's sort of presentations seem to go into one now.
Yeah, they do.
But yes, there's some really good games. There's some talented kids. That under 15s and that under 17 team particularly, we've got a mix of VNL players and a lot of Zone Academy kids. So the quality of netball will be outstanding. So really looking forward to those games.
And of course, the Beatson games as well being played at the Melton Recreation Reserve.
Yeah, so there's been a bit of a change in the times here. So Gisborne rookies, they'll be in under 11s at 10 o'clock versus Romsey. So Romsey have done a great job there. So the under 15s is the next game, and that's at 11:15. So that's Sunbury Kangaroos, which for Lancefield. Lancefield coach is actually playing senior netball at 1:30, so she's got to get back to Riddle to play. So we just had a little bit of a swap there to give Stacey a bit of a chop out.
Yep.
And thanks to Sunbury Kangaroos for agreeing to swap that game. That's fantastic. And then Macedon play rookies, Gisborne rookies, in the next two, the 15s and the 17s. So
the 13s and 17s.
Oh, sorry, the 13s and the 17s. 11:30 and 1:45. Great. I had a look at both of these teams, and really big talent in there too. So really warms my heart to see how much talent we have in the league. So yeah, excited.
Yeah, very much so. Great to see, and it's going to be huge crowds, of course, at the Junior Grand Final. So make sure you get there early, and make sure you cheer loud for your team on the biggest day of the junior netball season. Moving along with our talking points though this week, Kimmy, and getting back into senior mode and looking at Saturday's second elimination final. Romsey taking on the Melton Centrals. This was a game and a half up at Wallen on the weekend. Much as we suspected between these two teams, it would have been the closest game of the weekend, and it delivered. Romsey, second week in a row, sneaked over the line by a goal.
Yeah, I had a chat to some of the Romsey girls. Danny Davidson gave me a bit of a slap on Friday night. I'm sorry, I picked you, Danny. I did pick you, but she still gave me a slap, which is okay. But they said the preparation they had the week before from having that tough game against Lansfield most probably really helped them.
Yep.
In those tight situations that they come up with. But yeah, full time it was even Stevens. And I wondered what was going on because I was waiting for the results to come through, and I rang Michelle Brinkhouse and said, it's a draw there, isn't it? Yep. So the standard was amazing, apparently.
Yep. As it should be, with a lot of very, very good netballers in both of those teams.
Yeah, there is, and they come to the top, didn't they? So Danny Davidson had a great game in the mid-court, and I think Danny's injection into centre makes a really big difference. It's that experience that they bring. No disrespect to Carolyn McCarthy at all, but Danny's got that VNL experience, and there's just most probably some decision-making things with Dan. The experience really helps, and I think that's helped them a lot as well. And Caitlin Byron, most probably one of my favourite defenders. I think she's brilliant. Had a great game, and then of course Hope Evans. pulls out the big guns in
She does.
when it needs. But
43 goals, I believe.
43 from 50 from 80%, 86%. The only goal of the shooting in the 80% mark, although Beck Morabito shot at 79 and she was the best player on the court for the Centrals with Tran, Trung and Jess May. So, they're the superstars of those teams. It just come down to that last quarter. That one goal, that's all it was. It was just that bit of extra time, and I think the ball was getting down towards the circle, the circle edge for the Centrals, and the buzzer went. So it would have most probably been just play on.
Yep.
But a great game. These are what we want in finals, these type of games. So congratulations to Romsey and commiserations to Centrals. They had a really good season.
They did. They had a fantastic season. They caught Romsey though in a final, and we know how good Romsey are in finals. And it's a great credit to Romsey considering where they were at the start of the season. And to make it through a final, and as we'll speak about very shortly, they're a huge chance to keep going after this week as well. So
Lena Way should be very, very proud of the girls and the girls that they've assembled as well. Steph Symes come over from Lansfield and made a big difference as well. Danny's come back from Riddle.
Yep.
Chelsea Ross is playing, and Bronnie Blair's came back as well and has played and given a little bit of versatility as well.
And obviously Hope as well, who
Hope just keeps going.
Was going to play somewhere else this year and then never ended up coming back.
Yeah, and I think sometimes this season it's most probably been really good for Hope that she's had great games, but she's sort of flown under the radar a little bit as well.
They haven't had to rely on her to win games.
She hasn't shot the 100 goals and got all over Netball Vic website or in the papers or something like that. But it's most probably relaxed her game a little bit to take that pressure off her. So, and she's a great finals player. She's just awesome.
She is indeed. Speaking of great finals players, we saw a few of them on Saturday at Eric Boardman Reserve as well. In the qualifying final, Riddle taking on Macedon, and really only a 9-goal game in this one, so it was a very, very good game, but it was Riddle prevailing through, winning through to a second semi-final and a chance this week to play for a spot in the grand final. Yeah,
it was even Stevens at half-time, and then a big third quarter just saw Riddle whip away to 11-goal lead, and then I think that's what broke them after that. That was the only quarter that they won. That was the only quarter that they won. Macedon won every other quarter. But, that's what happens. You just have that one, the premiership quarter,
exactly
the third
right.
quarter. And you just look at the shooting power too. You just, Beck Caldwell had an outstanding game, shooting 39 from 42 at 93%.
That makes it hard, doesn't
it?
For the opposition?
Then you've got the 64, 69 and 23 for the other goals from Macedon. It does make a big difference, that spot on accuracy. So. Lauren Close has been in outstanding form as well. And Riddle brought some inclusions back in. I think Carly Harrison didn't play the week before, Taryn Munro, Danielle Wilson. So they've got an extremely young team, as well as playing some of their kids as well. Pretty awesome effort by Riddle, and it sort of stamps their authority, sets up a great game this week.
It certainly does. Sets up a game for them against Rupertswood, who on Sunday at Wood End at the Gilbert Gordon Oval didn't exactly have things all their own way, as a lot of people might have expected. Diggers Rest playing one of their better games of the season, but Rupertswood composed enough to get the win, obviously, and move through to play Riddle in that second semi-final this week. A 10-goal win. A lot of credit to Diggers Rest, but in the end, Rupertswood too strong.
Yeah, and this is most probably a result I expected, but both teams had a couple of players out. Nat Billings was missing for Riddle, and so was Beck Anstey, but sorry, what did I say?
You said Riddle.
Sorry.
Yeah. Don McCormick just had heart palpitations thinking
sorry,
they crossed when the even final.
So Nat Billings was missing and Beck Anstey was missing, but a big out for Diggers was Meredith Ball missing as well.
That was huge.
Unfortunate, but they most probably cancel each other out, those players. But Amy Carroll's done a sensational job with these Diggers girls. She's assembled a lot of girls who have changed clubs, but they seem to have gelled. And look, she'd be disappointed in the result, but I don't think she'd be disappointed too much in the season. It just sort of sets them up for a great 2017.
It does.
And they should be able to, from that, they should be able to climb higher on the ladder, I think, next season.
The first quarter, Rupertswood getting out 15-9 really set the tone for the game from there. Diggers Rest couldn't really claw their way back.
Yeah, I think so. They jumped them. And look, I know from my point of view, I always like to go out and get that big lead at quarter time and make the team really work hard, and you just have to maintain, really.
Correct.
6-goal quarter, and then you know, it was pretty much even Stevens after that, except for Rupo had a bit of a good last quarter too. They had their bookends going.
Yep.
Em Katona had a great game. Zoe Davis, who's a really good player. And then we had Sid Moore, who's had a really good season.
Yeah, she has. Injury interrupted season.
Injury interrupted, but the second half after a knee injury has been really good just in the mid-court. So, yeah, Amy Starzer had a really good game as well, 16 from 17 at 95%. So that's the type of shooting percentages you want to see. But Stacey Northey was a bit down, 21 from 31, but might have been a bit of defensive pressure. Maggie Payne from Diggers is a great defender too, much underrated. So, by the sounds of it, she did a good job. Katie Clark as well, she's had a great season as well.
She has indeed, which brings us into this week's games, ladies and gentlemen, and some huge games being played this weekend, starting on Saturday with a venue change. Obviously, initially announced that the games were going to be at Macedon, but due to the state of the Macedon football ground, the games have had to be moved to Ian Cowie Reserve in Rockbank. So that's where we're going to head this Saturday for second semi-final day. Teams looking to win their way through to a grand final. In the 19 and unders, it's Rupert Wood versus Macedon. In the C grade, it's Rupert's Wood and Riddle. In the B grade, it's Rupert's Wood and Riddle. And then in the A grade, it's actually changed it around. It's Riddle versus Rupert's Wood. So we'll just change that around a little bit, but obviously Riddle finishing on top. This is going to be a fantastic game, and really the top two sides from the home and away season getting a chance to play off for a spot in the grand final.
Yeah, that's a great result. Well done to Bruce for getting forward for teams into a second semi. That's a great effort. This should be an absolute cracker of a game. Both teams I'm expecting will be at full strength as well. So you bring them in and they're really evenly matched. This was a one-goal game last time we saw them.
Certainly was.
And I think the key is getting the right combinations in the goaling circle. They've got lots of goalers, and they just need to find that settled combination and maybe stick with it. Mm-hmm. That's most probably that's the key to the game for them. But, you know, we know Lauren Close, as we just said, has been in great form.
She's the best player last week.
And what would be the best matchup for Di to put on her? Would it be Amy Starzer? Would it be
someone that's a bit more
Billy
mobile rather than Stacey, or that's more of a holding player?
I would most probably think that she must probably play at goal defence. And so I think they've got a big task there. I think... But what that shooting circle, you know, Stacey Knowles is a great player.
She is.
They're going to have to close it down. But down the other end, they've got Beck Caldwell, and they're going to have to do the same, Rupo.
Exactly.
So whether they pop Beck Anstey on her or Zoe Davis, who knows?
A couple of pretty handy players in Tess Abbott and Katie Clark.
Yeah, so they're their original defenders, and you lose nothing with any of them.
Not a
thing. This will go right down to the wire, I think.
It will. Which way are you going?
Oh, Shaun, do I have to give it?
Yeah, you do. That's part of the netball show. You have to give the tip every week. Who is going through this Saturday to book their spot at Bronte?
I have picked Rupo every single week, and I've mozzed them, I think. But I just think Riddle it'll go right down to it. But I think I'll go with Riddle.
Going with Riddle in this one to win their way through.
Are you?
No, I don't tip. I just allow you to tip as the host.
Come on.
Okay, I'm going to tip Riddle as well, obviously. Last year's premiers, this is the time of year they shine. That being said, they lost this game last year. Had to go through the preliminary final and see Rupert's Wood in that way, but you just feel that both teams, you're right, very, very strong, a lot of depth throughout the court. It's just going to be kind of who gets the breaks on the day.
Look, they're very, very evenly matched.
Yeah,
so
they are. You could quite easily make a conversation for Rupert's Wood to win this game.
Yeah, of course you could, and most probably one of the only reasons we're going to it because they lost, Rupo lost by a goal last time, but you know, it could quite easily be backflipped and maybe I just jinxed them.
Could do.
I don't know. But yeah, I think Riddle, just with their depth, they had a few players out last time as well, and I think they might be a little bit more settled with their lineup, and that might help them.
And then on Sunday, first semi-final day at the Riddles Creek Recreation Reserve. In the under-19s, it's Riddle taking on Woodend Heskett, and Riddle with all four of their teams through to the second week of the finals as well. Definitely to be commended. The C grade is Melton Centrals versus Macedon. The B grade is Macedon versus Diggers Rest. And the A grade game, Macedon taking on Romsey. Macedon, nothing to be disgraced with their loss last week. Romsey, a fantastic win. This, I reckon, is going to be just as good as the game on Saturday.
I think so, yeah. It should be a great game. Again, could go either way. Two really evenly matched teams as well. I think, as we said, the inclusion of Danny Davison changes the structure of the Romsey team in the mid-court. But Tana Burnett, she didn't have an overly accurate game that I've seen her in.
Could have been finals nerves.
Yeah, could have been. She's only a young girl, 64%. So, but if she's on song, I think they will win the game if she's on song. But I don't know. Hopefully the nerves won't get to them. But, you know, it's a great story if Romsey do get through.
It is.
Which way do we go? Oh, God, Shawnee.
I'm tipping Macedon. I just feel Macedon's had the more consistent season. The one thing I worry about with Macedon is their defensive end and being able to Hope Hamilton and obviously Chelsea Ross and Bronwyn Blair rotating through goal attack.
I watched them against, I watched half of that game against Romsey and I don't know if they were missing someone. I think Janelle Birch mightn't have been there that day, but they were quite short and that was the thing that stood out to me, how short their defence was.
Yep.
So I'm pretty sure Janelle wasn't there, so she might add a little bit of height to it. But the key is to stop Hope.
Yeah.
And I think.
Which is easier said than done.
Yeah, it's really hard. If unless they play a split ring on her, that might be the only way they're going to stop her. But conversely, up the other end, that's what they might have to do with Tara. So, yeah, I just think purely because they finished second, I think I'm going to go for Macedon.
Yeah, Macedon for mine as well in this one. But as you quite rightly said, Kim, two games that could go both ways this weekend. Already looking forward to next weekend and preliminary final weekend and being able to discuss which of these two teams will be playing in the preliminary final, which obviously team is going through to the grand final and which team will be on a Mad Monday next week as well. Kim, thanks for joining us this week. Very comprehensive this week with the juniors and the seniors.
Yeah, it went a bit long.
It probably did, but that's okay because that's what the fans want out there. Thank you for joining us this week on the RDFNL Netball Show. We'll see you next week.